riders who were riding from Invermere across the Rockies, and they got stopped in a snowstorm a little bit more severe than the one we got hit with this afternoon. But they got stopped, and they were all sitting around a campfire trying to stay warm, and they said, wasn't this an incredible experience? Because they were seeing all these views that we were seeing. This is 1923, folks, 85 years ago. And they said, we've got to share this with the rest of the world. And on that date in 1923, the Order of the Trail Riders of the Canadian Rockies was struck. And you are all now official members of that Order of the Trail Riders. A very, very significant club. We rode along, and a couple of people that were key in that group, I'm not going to mention all of them, but two that were key was a fellow named Reginald Townsend, who was the editor of Country Life magazine of America, and I'll tell you his significance in a minute, and another fellow named Murray Gibbons, and he was the publicity agent for the Canadian Pacific Railway. And they, the Canadian Pacific Railway, decided that the Order of the Trail Riders Canadian Rockies would be supported by Canadian Pacific Railways to encourage people to come out and have something for their guests to do while they're riding their trains, come to Banff, stay in their hotels in Banff and Lake Louise, and then they would have something to do, go trail riding, and enjoy something of a larger experience of the Rockies. So they sponsored our group and financed it for many, many years, from 1923 to 1961. During that period of time, the first ride that went out, and you think about it, we're 20 people. The first ride that went out was one ride in the middle of August, and it was 200 people.
Oh my God.
200 people riding across the Rockies for one day. From 1924 to 1945, the rides consisted of 65 people on every ride, and they were moving camps. They started off as 4-day rides, and then they went to 5-day rides. Every night they moved the camp. And they were staying in teepees. Every night they moved the teepees, and every day they would erect the teepees at the next campsite. However, in 1945, Dan's friends, who were our outfitters for the accommodations, and the fellows who were the guides, represented by Jonas here, went in two different directions. And the 60, or I think it was at that time, 35 people on that ride only had 2 teepees to sleep in overnight on a snowy, cold, wintry day. And they slept literally standing up.
Jeez.
With the fire going
Must
on.
have been warm in there.
So they decided to change the format and move to a set camp. This was too dangerous to get all these people. There's lots of people with hypothermia that night. And they went to the set camp and the kind of thing that we have now. A set camp where everybody knows where they're going to, and everybody's going to arrive at the spot on a given night. Through the period of, you see in our theme song, whether you're the Queen of Siam. Well, in 1931, the King and Queen of Siam were staying at the Banff Lodge, and they heard about the Trail Riders, and they came out and they joined the Trail Riders on a ride, and the King did 100 miles of riding, and the Queen did 50 miles of riding. The King earning his silver pin, and the Queen earning her bronze pin, and they also joined and became life members of the Trail Riders Canadian Rockies. So hence the reference in the song to the Queen of Siam. In 1932, a quite famous country singer, Wilf Carter, was just a young fellow, and he was just starting his musical career, and he did it partially by playing in different CPR venues, one of them being the Trail Riders of the Canadian Rockies, and he became the official songster for the Trail Riders for many, many years. And he would actually strum his guitar. He'd have a little guitar, and he would strum it as he was riding down the trail and singing his songs. So Wilf Carter is Montana Slim, and he's got, I don't know how many thousands of albums out. He is also a member of Trail Riders Canadian Rockies and an important part of our history. Before Wilf got started, they used to have some portable organs and pianos that they would actually pack in. They pack into the camps.
They'll have them next year, I think.
We'll have that
They're
next
going
year.
in with the quads.
Coming in with the cloud.
Just so long as they don't come instead of the
No grand piano.
Boy, these guys are cheap.
Anyways,
keyboards.
guys like Carmen and Russell, who were the packers, mean guys that they were, didn't quite appreciate that they should have to pack this stupid piano in. So it accidentally got dumped over a cliff one day. And lo and behold, you know, they were insistent, those trail riders, so they bought a second piano. And
that went over a
somehow
cliff.
that sucker fell off the pack horses again. Went down a cliff, and some ingenious trail rider went down the cliff and got all the pieces and brought it back up and reassembled it and got it working for the camp. Well, wouldn't you know, on the way out it went over again, this time into a lake. Unusual how it would fall off those pack horses so easily. But anyways, so the guitar became the official instrument, as well as sometimes we bring in accordions. And we have some accordion players that would do it. When I joined back in 1980, we did have accordion players. We had square dance guys that could call square dances. And when we'd come off these rides, all our knees would be sore, as I'm sure a number of you people are feeling that. We would have square dances after every ride, and we'd loosen up our knees.
You didn't have hummocks.
We did have hummocks. We'd have to do the square dances over the hummock.
They were twice as big.
They were twice as big.
You were there, right?
I just heard about it.
30 years ago. 29.
Every one of them was uphill, too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1961. Oh, sorry. Another very, very important date. 1929. Reginald Townsend, again the editor of the Country Life magazine, sponsored the trophy now called the Townsend Trophy. And we will bring that out for supper on Friday night. The Townsend Trophy literally is from 1929, and it has all the winners scribed in it, starting in 1929, 1930, 31, 32, 33, the winners of the photography contest. And it is the Stanley Cup of the Trail Riders. It's older than the Stanley. I don't know if it is or not. But anyways, it's a beautiful, beautiful trophy. It stands about this high, big silver cup. And the winner gets the honor of having their name on the trophy. They get a plaque, an individualized plaque. And they get their picture now, which was just instituted last year with our first calendar. They get the picture on the front cover of the first calendar. And in September, you'll find when you get our calendar, it is a Trail Rider calendar, a Trail Rider Canadian Rockies calendar. It goes from July to August, 14 months. So it's not a typical calendar. So when you get it, you'll be able to use it for any one of our trail riders will be able to use it for a minimum of 12 months. And so the most observed month is September. The winner of the Townsend Trophy has their picture in September as well as on the cover. So there's the history. 61, Canadian Pacific Railway decided